Hey, what's up, champions, and welcome to Growth Mode. I'm your host, Donnie Bovine. I'm the CEO and founder of Success Champions, and I've been in the sales game for, over 25 years, I think now. Looked at it the other day. That's just crazy to me. I've been running Success Champions as a business for the last 3.5 years, and I've spent that journey figuring out how to get better at sales, of course, but more importantly, how to grow and scale a business. Hanging out with me is that knucklehead buddy of mine, Kevin Snow, this sales and automation badass. This dude's an absolute genius when it comes to automating everything about your sales world. And this show is all about helping you figure out how to grow, scale, and level up your business. What the heck are we talking about today, Kevin?
All right, so first of all, if you've been in the sales business for 25 years, that just means you're old.
Hey, look, I don't get gray hairs. I get chrome, right? We're dudes. We don't get old. We get distinguished. Big difference. Can't help it, dude. You're fucking ancient. Smart ass.
Hey. All right, so today what I want to talk about is content marketing, and specifically how most business owners, entrepreneurs are really screwing up their content game and not putting out the right content.
You mean what you tried to say is how most people like you aren't putting out content. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, there's that aspect too. There's ones that aren't putting out any content, and there's ones that are doing it wrong.
So I think this is going to be fun because I literally get a whole episode to razz the shit out of him about the lack of content he puts in the marketplace. So, for me, here's the thing: is we are in a online social world. Everybody, as you know, is sitting on their damn phones and numbing themselves or escaping the world through social media outlets, apps, Netflix, you name it. They're out there avoiding the real world, living in a socially structured place. And for me, I've been embracing this shit for the last 3.5, almost 4 years of going all in the online space and putting out as much content as I possibly can. I think about a Christmas party I went to a year or two back, and a gentleman who I didn't know walked up to me, and I started to introduce myself. He goes, "I know who the fuck you are." He goes, "Every time I turn on LinkedIn or any other social outlet, all I see is your fucking face pop up." I'm like, "Must be some good stuff." He goes, "No, I don't know how to get rid of it." So I'm like, "Well, stop liking and commenting on it and shit, and I won't pop up." So, but part of it is, the right content, and what that is. The other part of it is just do it, and learn to do things that work for your company. So, Kevin, why don't you put out content?
Because I'm too busy doing all your crap.
Said everybody else in the world. So go ahead and tell them how you overthink every post.
No, I now have copywriters because it takes me way too long to write all my clients' copy for their websites and emails and whatnot, because I overanalyze the heck out of what I should say and what it should look like and all that stuff. So the hour I had set on my calendar to do social media planning for the week would turn into a half day or more.
Why? That makes absolutely no sense to me.
I know it doesn't make any sense to you, because you're like, "Ooh, I'm just going to write this," and you throw it out.
And why can't you do that?
Because that we not
putting him on the spot.
I'm going to tell you what I tell you all the time, because not everyone is like you, Donnie.
All right, so cool. So let's do a contact hat. Even that you can do. I mean, I'll break it down so simple that you can pull it off. Are you ready?
Okay.
Have you written blogs?
Yes.
Ever? Cool?
Yes.
I want you to, every day, grab one of your blogs and pull one quote out of it. One quote. I mean, one sentence out of that blog and post it. Doesn't need to be anything else. If you want to get fancy, since you hate Canva, right, you can go to PowerPoint and actually put your picture on a slide and put the quote there and post it.
Well, now that we're never going to have a Canva sponsorship on this podcast.
I love Canva. Dude, Canva is an amazing tool to, and if you guys don't know what Canva is, it is the simplest, easy DIY designer tool in the face of the world. We have no affiliation with them, but I use the fuck out of it. Kevin's like 100 years old and uses PowerPoint for everything. But in truth is, you know, it's the simplest way to create content. But I'm getting ready to hear an excuse why you won't do that, so go ahead.
No, you're not getting ready to hear an excuse why you're not going to do that. I was just thinking more questions to ask you. So, because my tactic is shifting the conversation away from me.
So really, here's the thing when it comes to content is, you know, people want to hang out with people that are very similar to themselves. And that's just how we're wired. And, you know, I always joke about my farm is if I walk about my farm, the thing that always strikes me as funny is we have a bunch of different types of birds on the farm. We got ducks, geese, chickens, you know, guinea hens, turkeys. And the reason I bring that up is most times, if you look throughout my yard, all the bird species are hanging out together. And it's because they quack the same, they walk the same, they do whatever a bird does the same. And then every morning, every night, of course, they're all hanging out in the pen. But when they get out in the yard, they're all hanging out because they want to be with their particular style of species. And what I think is people want to hang out with people that talk and geek out on the similar things that they're into. So, like, I always bust Kevin's chops about being into Star Wars. You know, he busts mine about being into Harry Potter. You know, it's really about showing up in the world so people get to know you on a more personal level. And think about it this way. If you knew somebody was into Star Wars, Harry Potter, or some other crazy shit, it makes it a lot easier to strike up and start a conversation with them because now you can just reference one of those two, you know, series or movies or whatever else and get into a cool conversation. So for me, content marketing on the front end of it is putting out content that allows people a sneak peek into your world and who you are and what you do. And most people then ask me, well, how the hell does that get me business? And for me, it's really, really simple. People want to do business with people. They want to do business with people they can trust, get to know, and have a fun conversation with. And by putting out that type of content, you give them that particular opportunity.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is that for a lot of growing and developing businesses, they don't actually understand who specifically their audience should be and who they're writing for. So there's that disconnect between what they're putting out and what their audience is actually looking for. And I think,
yeah,
you know, when I work with clients, one of the big things we always start with is figuring out who their actual clientele is and who it should be and what they're into so that they can have those authentic conversations that resonate.
And I like that. And I'm just, My struggle with getting so avatar focused early on, small business, strictly small businesses just starting out, is they have no clue, right? They're not sure who they want to focus on. So for me, it's putting out the content that lets the world know you and get to know you, that helps get the right people to start showing up, all the way through it. And then you can profile, right, and put out content. But I got to admit, I don't a lot anymore think about who I'm writing content for. Who am I trying to put a post out for? I'm just trying to connect with the world. And, it's either through goat pictures for me, or it's educational content, podcast and the like. I'm not so worried as I used to be about specifically understanding, Bob Smith is going to be reading this particular post and make sure I write it specifically for Bob. Because my people show up. And what I mean by my people is the people that geek out on the same things that I geek out on. But from an automation sales standpoint, I can understand where the necessity to know specifically who you're writing for would be a key play.
Well, and I think it really depends on the industry too, and the type of business that you are, because a lot of my clients that are working with a specific type of clientele. One of my clients works really specifically with people that are in the healing and medical arts type community, for lack of a different word. There's a specific way you talk to them and that they engage with you. While you have some of those people that follow you, there's parts of your content that doesn't resonate with them as well as other parts. They love your woo because you are all woo woo. Donnie has woo woo. Don't ever let him tell you he doesn't. But there's
that sounds like
other
a
parts of
disease.
Good thing they're medical arts people. They can help you. But then I have other clients that are working specifically with IT people, because that is who their product is designed specifically for them. And there's a specific way you engage with IT techies, as opposed to how you engage with other business owners.
Yeah, I get that, but at the end of the day, the person who makes the buying decision is still a person. Mm-hmm. So I even wonder if in the techie space, if I'm a technical writer and I love Star Wars or Star Trek or Chewbacca, Jabba, Jar Jar Binks, whatever the fuck it is. I just said that to see if I could piss off a bunch of crazy people. But if I can geek out on what I geek out on and still write it in towards my business, I mean, imagine doing a 10 ways Chewbacca would do this technology X, or how Jabba the Hutt would fuck up, how to do this SQL server or something. I think there's a way to geek out on what you geek out on and still connect with your audience.
Yeah, but again, you're throwing out things that are naturally going to resonate with the bulk of IT people. Superheroes, Star Wars, Star Trek.
Mountain Dew and Cheetos.
Mountain Dew for sure. Energy drinks. Or not so much the Cheetos anymore.
Right.
But, other things that, you're big on goats. Those may or may not resonate as well with your IT. I love to sit on my computer crowd. They'll probably say they're cute, but they're probably not going to engage nearly as much as if you were talking about Harry Potter. So I totally, and And I totally agree with you. You need to have the personality into the content you're putting out, no matter what space you're in. It shouldn't all just be sales, marketing oriented content. You got to have the personality piece, but you still have to be able to show it in a way that resonates with your people.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the bottom line, guys, for content is 90% of the content battle is showing up consistently, regularly, putting out content that allows people to a peek behind the curtains. And that doesn't mean you got to bring your personal life into it. You can bring your business life into it and geek out a little bit and have a little bit of fun. So, as always, if you got any value out of this episode, do us a favor. Teach somebody else how to follow and subscribe the show. That would mean everything to us, and it's how we impact and, change more lives. So teach one person how to follow and subscribe. I appreciate you, boys and gals.